If you want to start trading with CMC as your main trading brokerage in 2026, here are the 5 most important things that you need to know before you get started. Let's start with number 5. At number 5, CMC has an award-winning platform. They have a next generation platform. That is the name of the platform. People love it or hate it. On this channel, we've had mixed kind of feelings and reviews about it. Generally, we find it a little bit more complicated than necessary, but they actually have just released a new Spectre product, which we'll be talking about in a second, which actually has a much simpler platform to use. CMC is also a great broker if you want to integrate with other platforms. So it integrates with Tradingview and MetaTrader. So if you're looking at plugging CMC into anything else, then MT4, MT5 and Tradingview are all great areas where you can trade with CMC. Now, the platform range that they offer isn't as comprehensive as something like a Pepperstone or even an IG, where they have a vast range of different platforms, including CTrader and their own different proprietary web platforms, but CMC does allow you to integrate with other platforms, which is a huge advantage for beginner traders who are looking to get started with a new platform and want a broker that plugs in and they can easily use. Number 4 of things you need to know about CMC is spread betting. CMC are a very good spread betting broker. They've historically had very competitive rates, both for spread betting and for normal trading. Spread betting is a method of tax-free trading here in the UK. They've just released a brand new product called Spectre. Spectre is a product that is a one-for-one spread betting account, so you're not using any leverage. Essentially, you are trading on your own account, on your own funds. This is great for people who have a high net worth, people who have 50,000 to 100,000 in cash just sitting there and want to start investing or trading. This product allows them to do that with a tax-free wrapper that they can actively trade, more akin to kind of like an ISA, but essentially everything that you earn, it's not capped at 20,000. So anything that you put in and anything that you trade and make is tax-free. So it's not subject to capital gains tax, which is a really useful product for people who have a higher net worth or have a higher degree of cash that they want to potentially invest or actively trade. They have a brand new platform that's much easier to use because we've been criticizing the old one enough. They've thought, well, what can we do for the new platform? And so they created a Spectre platform that is much simpler, much easier to understand and navigate. They've also created a method by which it's free from capital gains tax. So it's still spread betting. You're betting per pound. The difference between spread betting on a normal CMC account and spread betting with a Spectre account is that you don't have leverage on the Spectre account. Everything that you trade must be within your bank account. There's no margin requirements, there's no margin call. This is simply a one-for-one spread betting account. This is very useful for people who have, for example, a high net worth and they want to actively trade. This is a product made for them. It's also a product potentially made for people who have managed money. So they give their money to a financial advisor or someone who can manage that money for them. This is a tax wrapper, very similar to an ISA. It's a useful product, great for those people who have a high net worth, who want to trade the depth of instruments that CMC actually offers. They offer over 11,000 instruments, so there's a wide variety of things to choose from, but also want to do it in a very kind of measured way without taking the risks that leverage provides. So it's a one-for-one trading environment. So this is a useful product for those kind of people. Third thing you need to know about CMC is this beginner friendliness. So is CMC beginner friendly? Can you just pick it up and start using it? Well, in our experience, CMC proves itself to be relatively geared towards intermediate and advanced level traders. Their release of the new Spectre product kind of confirms this as well. They're really positioned at the intermediate MT4, MT5 level traders, but they do have Tradingview integration for those people who are looking at charting. If they're a beginner, using Tradingview is a fantastic way to get started. But really, I wouldn't say that CMC is geared towards beginners by any means. I think that if you're looking at a beginner broker, there are much better options available. Spectre has a beginner-friendly platform that they're looking to potentially improve over time, but I wouldn't say the Spectre platform is designed for beginners either. I think that generally, if you're looking at CMC, you're not going to be a beginner. You're really going to start categorizing CMC, IG, and interactive brokers, potentially even Pepperstone and XNES as well in there. There's a couple of key brokers that CMC competes with in that intermediate to advanced level space. I wouldn't say that it's a particularly beginner-friendly environment to start trading. CMC does actually have a great educational program. They offer a lot of free resources on their sites. They offer webinars, they offer market analysis. Their blog is very active with news and information. So I would say that CMC is good for beginners, but it's certainly not geared towards beginners. When I first got started trading with CMC, I thought, well, this is a platform for serious traders. So I started using it. I quickly found their platform, their next generation platform, to be a little bit overwhelming. And so when I moved off that platform, I actually realized, well, I was probably trading on the wrong platform to begin with. So if you're a beginner trader, I would look elsewhere. I wouldn't choose CMC. There's a lot of other options that you can check out on our reviews, on Trading Brokers here, on our YouTube channel, or on our website at tradingbrokers.co.uk that are much more suited for beginner traders. And number two, we're looking at fees and spreads. CMC is very, very good for fees and spreads. If you know the difference, great. But if you don't, basically fees are something that they will charge you after the fact. So there's a holding fee or an overnight fee. CMC does actually charge an inactivity fee. IG has done away with their inactivity fee in 2026. The CMC still seems to be holding on to their inactivity fee. This is £10. It's generally across a couple of brokers, £10 for 12 months of inactivity. So you have to watch the inactivity fee if you're trading with CMC or kind of not trading with CMC, I guess. That will come into effect after 12 months. For spreads, CMC is actually one of the most competitive brokers. You can set up an account with CMC and you can get spreads of like 0.5, 0.6 pip spread, which means essentially they're charging you very little for the cost of trading, which is highly competitive. I would say that CMC is one of the most competitive brokers when it comes to spread costs. It's up there with IG, Pepperstone. Pepperstone is actually more competitive than CMC for a lot of their razor spreads, but for the standard account, CMC actually offers a very good alternative. So I would open an account with CMC and start trading with CMC and wouldn't have to worry that much about costs. Same with kind of an IG, but I would say that CMC is one of the most competitive for spread costs here in the UK. It's one of the best based on the category size. So for example, you've got interactive brokers, Pepperstone, IG, CMC, these are kind of core brokers, and CMC is also one of the most competitive spreads in that field. So it's a very good broker generally for fees and for spreads. And then lastly, we need to look at who CMC is actually made for. So if you're an intermediate to advanced level trader, not a beginner level trader, you have around 10,000 to 100,000 in your account, or maybe 20,000 to 100,000 in your account, and are looking to either spread bet or trade very competitively, or even trade without leverage using their Spectre account, then CMC is probably your broker. If you are a beginner trader looking at trading on Tradingview, looking for a simple broker to plug and play, CMC can work as an option, but I would rather choose something like a Pepperstone or even an IG, which actually has more instruments to trade anyway, than using a CMC. CMC is really an established broker for those in the UK, people who are looking for a high degree of regulation, a high degree of kind of support, market analysis, and are looking for an alternative to an interactive brokers or an IG. It's not really built for people who are not familiar with the depth of instruments that you can trade. If you're a brand new Forex trader, for example, you're not going to want to choose CMC. Choose something simpler with a simpler platform set up that you can spread bet on if you want to spread bet, something like Pepperstone, something like Vantage Markets, but I wouldn't choose CMC to start with. It just seems like a bit of an overkill for a brand new trader, especially with their next generation platform, which takes a lot of learning and getting used to before you get familiar with it. It's not something you dive into and start trading off the bat. It's more something that you work up to once you've run out of instruments to trade, or you're looking for something that offers next level kind of trading support. So I wouldn't choose CMC generally. If I was kind of starting my journey again, I would choose an alternative broker. If you're looking for a full CMC review, including our Spectre review, then have a look at tradingbrokers.co.uk. This is where we outline all of the kind of different brokers that are available, FCA regulated brokers that are available in the UK for people to start trading. CMC is on there, Spectre is on there, and it's a whole breakdown. So head over to tradingbrokers.co.uk if you're interested in starting trading and starting that trading journey.